Have you ever looked at your phone and realized nobody has texted you all day? Instead of feeling lonely, you feel a strange sense of absolute peace. You watch others juggle chaotic friendships, endless group chats, and constant social drama. Meanwhile, you sit comfortably in your own quiet world, completely self-sufficient. Society often looks at people like us and assumes something must be deeply broken. They call it isolation or social anxiety or a lack of social skills. But what if the world has it completely backwards? What if your empty calendar isn't a weakness at all? It might actually be the ultimate psychological superpower. Picture a busy Saturday night in the middle of a crowded city. A group of friends sits at a popular restaurant surrounded by noise. On the surface, they are laughing, taking photos, and sharing stories. But look closer at the person sitting at the edge of the table. They are constantly checking their phone, laughing at jokes they didn't really hear. They actively change their personality just to fit the mood of the group. They are terrified of a single moment of awkward silence. They leave the night feeling completely exhausted, drained by the heavy cost of pretending. Now, picture yourself sitting at home with a book or a personal project. There is no performance, no masking, and no desperate need for approval. The people at the restaurant are draining their energy to buy temporary connection. You are conserving your energy to build a permanent, unbreakable foundation. You're not missing out on life. You're actively reclaiming it. This striking contrast reveals a profound psychological truth about the human mind. Most people do not seek friendship out of a genuine love for others. They seek friendship out of an intense, subconscious fear of being alone. They use the noise of social circle to drown out their inner thoughts. They need constant reassurance because their own internal voice terrifies them. When you have few or no friends, you lack that external noise. This forces you to look directly at your own mind without any distractions. Psychologists call this rare trait high self-differentiation. It is the highly advanced ability to separate your identity from the crowd. You do not need a committee to tell you who you are. Your values do not shift based on who is standing in front of you. Your identity is forged in quiet isolation, making it incredibly resilient to outside pressure. Now, let us examine the deep emotional insight behind this unique lifestyle. Having a tiny social circle means you possess a highly advanced energetic filter. You intuitively understand that human energy is a strictly finite resource. Every superficial friendship you maintain is a leak in your emotional gas tank. By closing those leaks, you retain a massive amount of cognitive and emotional power. You do not waste mental bandwidth on gossip, petty arguments, or keeping up appearances. This leaves your mind completely clear to focus on deep, meaningful pursuits. Your isolation is not a prison. It is a beautifully designed fortress of focus. Take a slow, deep breath and let that realization wash over you. Think about the legendary innovators, artists, and deep thinkers throughout history. They were rarely the life of the party or the center of attention. They were the ones who spent months working alone in quiet rooms. They understood that greatness requires extended periods of uninterrupted isolation. Consider the friend who constantly texts you only when they need a favor. They use people as emotional crutches because they cannot support their own weight. Compare that to your own ability to solve your problems completely independently. You navigate life's darkest storms using your own internal compass. You do not code switch or change your values depending on who is watching. You are the exact same person alone as you are in public. This rare consistency gives you an incredible sense of inner peace. People who need everyone's approval end up belonging to no one at all. But you belong entirely to yourself, which is the ultimate form of freedom. Let us pause for a moment and reflect on your past social interactions. Think about the times you forced yourself to attend crowded social gatherings. Remember the hollow feeling in your chest while standing in a room full of people. You were physically present, but emotionally, you were a million miles away. You realized that being alone in a crowd is the loneliest feeling in the world. That was the moment your psychological superpower began to quietly wake up. Your mind was telling you that shallow connections are a waste of your time. You began to prioritize the quality of your peace over the quantity of your friends. But here is the subtle twist you might not have noticed yet. Having no friends doesn't actually mean you are bad at human connection. In fact, it usually means you are much better at it than most. Because you refuse to accept superficial bonds, you hold out for absolute depth. You are not antisocial. You are deeply, unapologetically selective. You possess a rare psychological radar that instantly detects insincerity and hidden agendas. You would rather have 0 friends than 100 people who don't truly see you. Your small circle is a conscious choice, not a tragic social failure. You have mastered the art of being alone without ever feeling lonely. The world will always try to tell you that popularity equals happiness. They want you to believe that a crowded room solves an empty heart. They push the narrative that extroversion is the only path to a successful life. But the most powerful people are always those who can stand entirely alone. Your quiet life is a sign of immense psychological strength, not weakness. You have built a home within yourself that doesn't rely on external validation. You are your own sanctuary, your own counselor, and your own greatest ally. When you stop chasing people, you finally start catching up with yourself. You unlock hidden talents, deep self-awareness, and an unshakable sense of purpose. The energy you use to spend pleasing others is now fueling your growth. You are becoming a mountain while everyone else is trying to be a wave. You do not need to force yourself into spaces where you do not belong. Stop apologizing for your small circle or your need for solitude. Trust your selectiveness, protect your peace, and value your beautiful, powerful silence. The right people will eventually find you, and they will respect your fortress. Until then, remember that standing alone is a superpower very few can handle.